Yo, what's good? It's Bear in the building. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Queen Talk. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today's special guest is Shanice Davis.
What's good?
Everybody,
What's good?
Welcome, Shanice. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, I hit you up and you were just like, yeah, right away. Did no hesitations. It was no thoughts about it. You were just like, of course, I'll come. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Like I said to you earlier, I watched Joseph Shepard's episode.
Okay.
Listened to that, and I felt the vibe, and I like what you're doing with the podcast and the demographic and the message you're trying to put out there. So it was no hesitation.
I appreciate that so much. I really do.
For sure.
You want to give the audience a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. My name is Shanice Davis. I'm originally from Derby, Kansas. Went to school there, K through 12. 32 years old. I am mixed with black, white, Native American, so a good little pop mix in there. I go by pronouns she and hers, and then how I identify in the community is she, her, but also identify as lesbian or bisexual, if you will.
Bisexual. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you come out? Like, it was recent, right? Or
bro, that story's crazy for real. Okay, so here's what happened, right? So I lived in Topeka for a couple years. I moved up there for a job, essentially, mm-hmm. and I had been questioning it a little bit. So mm-hmm. I talked to my therapist because at the time it was kind of still the pandemic era, so you were doing a lot of therapy sessions online, mm-hmm. and so I was like, you know what, this woman's never gonna meet me in person, so like I'm just gonna talk to her about it. And so I talked to her about it, and she was like, you know what, just explore it. She's like, what's wrong with exploring it? And she was like, just go for it. And I was like, you know, like I grew up in a religious household. Like I don't know. She's like, just go, just do it. I was like, okay. And so I kind of started getting out there a little bit and kind of went through this little phase with an old friend of mine, old roommate, and that didn't work out. But what ended up making me come out is my current fiance.
Okay.
So met her February 1st, 2023. That was our first date, actually. And pretty much we just never separated from each other. Like, we were attached to the hip, became immediate best friends, and like...
You got that lesbian...
Yeah.
They say that
get that U-Haul. Date two, get that U-Haul. But no, like, for real, that's what happened with us. And, like, we tried to... Like, everything just instantly... Like, we fell in love so quick, and then we tried to separate. Not break up, but, like... Okay, she went back to her apartment for a couple days, and then I stayed at home. But what was crazy is she went home, but then, like, I was going to the gym at 5 at that point. She got up, she went home, got up, came to the gym with me the next morning, and then came to the house to take a shower, then came right back after work, and then went home to go to sleep. So it was like, we're still together. And then whenever she left to go home, we're on the phone talking until we go to sleep. So it was like we still weren't away from each other. Yeah. So we tried it for a couple of days, and it just, for neither one of us, it didn't work. Like, we missed each other that much. So what happened was we went to Vorshay's Cocktail Lounge.
Love that place. Such a great vibe.
Vibe. No matter what you go for, a vibe. So
expensive, but a vibe.
But vibe. The vibe part, heavy emphasis. So we went there, right? And we're sitting there chilling, drinking, whatever. And I noticed some people coming in that I know. And my family's pretty big in Wichita. Like, my dad, my grandpa, like, we're just known by a lot of people. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, what if somebody sees me with this woman, my arm around her, she's on me, like, and they go and tell my family first. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can't let that happen. It's got to come from me. Mm-hmm. So I went to my sister, and I told my sister first, and she was like, I knew. I was like, what do you mean you knew? She's like, I've just waited for you to tell me. And I was like, okay. So we had a moment, we cried, all that stuff. Well, then I was waiting for a moment to tell my dad. So my now fiance, she's in the house with me, or excuse me, she's on her way to the house. And my dad just pops up, and I was like, hold up. And he's like, you were acting weird that day. What's going on? And I was like, well, I got something to tell you. So I told him, and he's like, I knew. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I've been having this conversation for years. He's like, I've been waiting for you to tell me. Now, the person I was scared to tell was my mom.
Oh, okay.
So I asked my sister, I was like, can you tell mama? I was like, I just don't want to have the conversation. I don't want to hear. I was like, I don't know if she's going to be devastated. I don't know if she's like, what her reaction is going to be. Mm-hmm. I said, so I don't want to go through that right now. I'm in a good place. I don't want to go through that. So she tells my mom. Ashley, my fiance Ashley and I, we're on a date that night, and my mom's blowing my phone up, and she's like, I love you so much. I love you unconditionally. You're my daughter no matter what. I don't care what nobody says. Like, I want you to be happy. You love who you love. So, I mean, like, outstanding support from jump. But that's how I came out. So that was February of last year that all this happened. So, long-winded answer, but that's how this came to be.
But it's fresh. Like,
it's fresh.
Yeah. One day before my birthday, by the way. My birthday's February 2nd. I'm a groundhog, baby.
Okay, yep.
But that's dope. Like, your family just like embrace it. It was nice. Did your family like have like background conversations like in the past, like about you? Like, oh, is she like? Did they tell you that they had those conversations?
I don't think that they had conversations amongst each other, but all my life, I've been able as a tomboy. You know, family members have told me that I should have been a boy, you know, all sorts of stuff. Because I've never been a frou-frou girl. Like, my mom, growing up, she always used to do my hair in pigtails and all that with the lace socks and all that. That was never me. Like, I don't like dresses. I still don't like dresses to this day. But, you know, they were just like, we knew. But, like, people would I don't want to say accuse because I think that's the wrong term, but they would come out and be like, oh, I think Shanice is gay, this, or she's a lesbian, whatever. And for me, I didn't know that this is who I was. Genuinely, I didn't know. And so, like, I dated, obviously, men and all that stuff. And so it just never worked out for me. And then when I met Ashley, it just worked. Like, it was...
Where were you guys at? Where were you at?
When we met? We met on Hinge, the dating app.
Okay, so when you created your profile on Hinge, you had it open up to female? Is that your way of exploring when you're therapist?
Yep.
Like, I'm going to open this up?
Yep. Because I lived in Topeka, and I didn't really know anybody there. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to open it. Because I was traveling a lot back and forth to Wichita. So I was like, okay, so I'll open it to like the Wichita area, the Kansas City area. And then if it works, great. If not, I'm in Topeka, so I ain't got to worry about it no way. But at the same time, when this was all happening, I was in the process of trying to move back to Wichita. I was interviewing for a position to come back to Wichita also. So, like, a lot of things were happening at the same time. So it was like, if I find somebody in Topeka, okay, this is going to be temporary. If I find somebody in Wichita, like, you know, that's home. So it's going to be easy for me to meet up with them and sync back up. So, but I did not think that I would meet somebody that would just be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was just going to be in the dating world for a minute.
Yeah. No, you said first one. Found it.
Yeah, literally. You it.
Yeah, no need. So you said, like, this happened last year, but, like, when was, like, the earliest memory of you, like, okay, having this feeling of, okay, I potentially do like girls, or I may be feeling like I am different. I'm not just into boys. Like, do you remember, like, the earliest memory you had of that?
So, yes and no, because a lot of my friends are of the LGBT plus community. Like, they're in the community. And so I just always been around people in the community. And so it's just always been comfort for me. So growing up, my grandma was a big supporter of, you remember Fantasy Club? Okay, my grandma was a big supporter there.
Okay.
And my grandma, I mean, somebody has told me before that she had her phase as well, but like, she was a big...
like in the community?
Yeah. Grandma rocked with us. But no, like, somebody told me, you know, that she went through that phase, and like, she was just a big supporter there. So like, I've always been around the community, and it's never been like a thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just family. You know what I mean? And like, I've got, you know, several people in the community in my family. So it was just never a question about it. But as far as like, when did I start realizing it for me? I don't know. Because like, just things weren't working out for me with men. And I was just like, maybe I'm not meant to be with a man. You know what I mean? And then a friend of mine at the time, like, we were really close, and she had came out to me as bisexual. And so that's actually the first person that I called when I started questioning. And I was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what to do. And that's whenever I started talking to my therapist and was just like, what should I do here? And that's whenever she encouraged me. She's like, just try it. Just experiment. She's like, there's nothing wrong with experimenting. She's like, because if you don't like it, at least you can say you tried.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And then I did, and here I am about to get married.
Yeah. So you said like you were around it. You've been like acclimated around the group of people like all your life, but still you had like this feeling of like you were scared to tell your family.
Yeah.
Even though you had family a part of the community and you were surrounded by that, why do you think that was that you were still scared?
Sounds silly, don't it? But no, I just like, for me, I like to research. I like to watch documentaries and stuff like that. And then watching stuff about people coming out and listening to, there was this one specific, I can't remember if it was a podcast, a video, or what it was. But from a parent's perspective, when their child comes out, how they explained it made it visual for me. And it was like the parent is shedding that expectation and that skin of what they had for their child. Mm-hmm. So for me as a daughter, you know, they had this expectation of, oh, she's going to get married to a man one day. She's going to have kids. She's going to do this. Well, now we have to shed that. And for me, I didn't want to disappoint anybody because I was very much so a people pleaser. Like, trust me, Ashley I'm not saying that I was a weak individual prior to Ashley, but she's opened my eyes a lot to, like we were talking about earlier, boundaries and shedding what people think about you. Like, I've never been one to care about what people think of me, but I have cared about letting somebody down.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I didn't want to upset my family because now they have to shed that.
Yeah.
And then going through, if it was be a trauma thing for them, like, oh, I really had these hopes for Shanice and stuff like that. But then now that I'm with Ashley and the love and the just the love and the growth and everything that comes with it that I've experienced with her, now it to me it's just silly because like I've never in my life experienced a love that I have with her and the security that I have with her.
That's really nice. And you're putting yourself first now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think in being like a part of the community, I think a lot of us have this is to where like we think about everyone else.
Everybody else.
Everyone else is going to think, how I'm going to be disappointing my grandma, my mom, whoever it may be. And it's like sometimes you just have to think about yourself and like sometimes like making them happy is hurting yourself, hurting your mental health, and just like getting through that. It's just like finally like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't please everybody. For once, you're pleasing yourself, which is great that you've come to that realization, and you have a partner who supports that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's really good to have.
I mean, she didn't even have to say anything, but I just knew when I met her and then I was with her for the first couple of dates, I was like, I know this is it. And I was like, I can't, and I told her, I was like, I can't hide you. And I can't hide who I am right now. I said, so I had to come out and I had to say something. And of course, like still there at the beginning, I was still scared to just be open and say it. But now you're going to hear my wife. Because, I mean, like, she's a part of me. I'm a part of her. We're one now. Like, I mean, we're not officially, you know what I'm saying? But, like, we're one. And so that's not going to change. Regardless of how you feel or what you may think, this is me. I'm part. Either you on the train or you gone.
I love that for you. And I remember, like, the last time I seen you out in public was at, and you don't even know this, but I seen you at when the gospel, they came to Century 2. Marvin Sapp didn't show up, but they were all there. Yeah. And like I was telling someone else previously on this podcast of just like when I enter those type of spaces, I get like, I don't know, just like I get this uncomfortable feeling of just like people thinking people are going to judge me, even though they might not be. But I'm just like internally, I'm like, okay, they're judging me for being a lesbian, just like in this community. But I seen you and your partner at the concert, and you guys were just loving on each other, like in
that's my
like,
baby, man.
Yeah, like you didn't care, but like
I don't.
Seeing other people that were there that looked like us, gave me comfort. So like you didn't even know that, but that's when I see you out in public. But just like that representation of someone. Okay, they're out here doing it. Like personally, like me, I'm not at that space to where I would have done that there. So like, but seeing you, I'm like, why would I not?
Right.
Why am I scared to do it in this space, but not anywhere else?
Yep.
So that was dope to see you guys there.
I love
just
that.
Like, not caring. Like,
we don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And approach me if you want to. Say something if you want to. Because at the end of that, that's my baby, man. Yeah. Like, that's my rider, that's my girl, like that's me, that's everything right there. But like, even to go on that, what you just said, like, we've had that conversation numerous times about like going to church. I like, don't get me wrong, I still have my faith. Like, I may not be present in a church, but I still have my faith. Don't get me wrong on that. But that's my biggest obstacle as far as stepping into a church, is I don't want to be judged because I'm holding hands with Ashley in there. Like, we're not there for you.
Yeah.
We there to get our praise on. You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, it's still hard to step into a church because I feel like immediately as we stepped in, we're being judged. And then even just for me walking in, and like, I give off that soft butch, you know, stud look or whatever aesthetic. But like, I even feel like you said, like, if they may not know, but you know they're gonna assume.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, assume all you want. Like, that's how I am now. But at that point, I wasn't there. Like, and I still, like, in the church setting, I still struggle with that.
Yeah. How do you navigate that, like being still faithful and believer and being a part of the community? Like,
Absolutely, that's a good question. So honestly, Roy Moy, have you talked to him?
I need him on here.
Okay,
he hit me up. He's a busy person.
He's a very busy man.
yes.
That's my boy. Roy and I go way back to like 2016, but I hit him up.
Yeah.
When I moved back to Wichita, I hit him up. And I said, man, I need to talk to you. And he said, okay. We met at Old Chicago downtown. We sat there for probably an hour and a half and talked. And I said, this is what I'm struggling with. I said, I'm a woman of faith. I was told in the church that like a homosexual is going to go to hell. How did you overcome this as a known gospel artist? You've been on Sunday's Best. You're active in the church. You're active in, like, how did you overcome this? And the way he put it to me was, at one point, black and white people were not allowed to be together. We overcame that. He said, it's just a matter of time before we overcome same-sex marriage as not being okay. And so for me, like, that was just a light bulb. It just clicked. But like I said, I find my church in other ways. I may not be present in a physical church, but I will still study. Don't get me wrong. I have scriptures memorized, like from my early years as a child. I'll listen to podcast, like not podcasts, but like clips on like TikTok and stuff like that of different pastors. I find my church in different ways, but to be honest, the God that I serve loves unconditionally. Because Jesus said to himself, he said, he without sin cast the first stone, and he didn't pick up nothing. He sheltered her. He comforted her, right? And she was the adulteress, right? He comforted her. What makes me any different?
Yeah.
Right? So like, he died for my sins. The God that I serve is unconditional.
Yeah.
Right? So like, for me, and like, I just had this conversation on Facebook over the weekend. Like, we're okay with baptizing a child that's born out of wedlock, but we're not supposed to do that, right? We're okay with marrying a couple where one or the other, or if not both, have been married before, right? We're okay with marrying somebody that's had premarital sex or that lives together before marriage. But it's not okay because the woman that I love and the woman that loves me, we have the same body parts.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
What disqualifies the love that I have with my fiance, and what makes it any different than two heterosexuals that are doing everything, having children out of wedlock and everything like that? What makes a difference?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where my strength comes in my faith. Is like, I know where my heart's at, and I know my heart has good intentions. Whatever everybody else thinks and whatever they want to do, that's their choice.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said there, and it is like the homosexuality gets put on this higher ladder, this higher tier than everything else, and it's like you're over here spewing hate at me,
right?
When you have look in the mirror,
right,
and see like the damage that you're doing not only to the community but just like the hatred it doesn't help,
right?
Like, if only thing, like it brings people away from the church, like, that are a part of this community. And I've had numerous conversations about it too, just like how it does straight. And I'm glad it didn't for you, because like, for me either, like at one point in time, like I did like veer away and just like I didn't stop believing. It was just like I I wasn't going to a church or whatnot. I finally found like an online church. So now I'm
Yeah.
comfortable going to an online church.
Right.
So that brought more comfortability. So I am going to a church regularly. But that took me a while just because of the message that
Right.
usually you get from the church. But
Yep.
so yeah.
And the other thing too, real quick, is if I'm still not a child of God, why do I keep still receiving blessings?
Amen. Yes.
Like,
yeah.
you can't tell
Yeah.
me all the things that I've been through, and because of who I am, I'm going to stop receiving blessings. Like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like casting out hate and all this negativity. That's not what Jesus was about. That's not what God is about. It's supposed to be about love and support and being there. And tell me if I'm wrong, but the community is where you're going to get the most love and support. Whether you're blood related or not, they will make you your family, and you will have the most support that you will probably ever experience if you don't have it. And I've witnessed that firsthand here in Wichita and in other places. But I've seen that firsthand where, you know, somebody of the community will give somebody that they don't even know the shirt off their back.
Yeah.
But others are, I said this the other day, like we've got ministers and pastors that are millionaires, billionaires. They won't even open up their facilities or their churches to homelessness or disaster relief. But we've got somebody in the community that will give you the shirt off your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me that's not love. You can't tell me that's not a work of God.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm glad that you're still a believer in your faith because it is fresh and like you're still finding that way too.
Yeah. Trust me, it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
it
right,
wasn't
yeah,
easy. There was a lot of dark days, a lot of dark days. But with Ashley and talking with her and just prayer and just,
it also helps that you have a partner who is also.
Don't get her started. You think I'm in here trying to preach? Don't get her in here because she'll give it to you.
Yeah, I love that though. I really do because I mean we need more of that though. Like just like people that advocate so that other people see that there are people here who are also queer, who are also believers.
Absolutely.
Like, and it like just like all that representation, it does matter. So,
absolutely.
Like I said, when I seen you guys at that concert, it made me feel good. So
yeah, that's dope though that you saw this. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was sitting like right behind you guys. So
that's even worse because I mean, as many times like my mom was trying to leave early, and as many times as I walked by you probably and didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I seen you, but I was just. Yeah, it was a dope concert. Like I love going to things like that too. So just like seeing you there, like I said, representation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And with you and your relationship, you guys literally met February 1st, 2023. 2 months later,
we got engaged.
You got engaged.
We sure did. I told you I was not messing around. Yeah, I knew.
So, what made you think like, okay, I'm gonna get like you just came out.
Sure did.
You just came out.
Sure did.
And then 2 months later, you're like, okay, this is the one. Like, what was it like?
Man, it was everything. Like the fact that of course, like I had talked to other women prior to her, right now, but every woman that I had met prior to her, even talked to, had a reason why I wasn't a fit. Right, like either I was a baby gay, if you will, I was. They were just testing the waters and decided they weren't a lesbian or into women. I mean, whatever you can think of. There was another one that was a little crazy, but we'll leave that one off the cast. But with her, she was so patient with me because I told her, I was like, I'm not out yet. She said, okay, I can wait. And then I hadn't been with the woman. I hadn't even kissed a woman. And I said, I hadn't done these things yet. And she said, okay, I'll wait. It was the patience from the get-go that really drew me to her, but her level of intelligence. She has her bachelor's degree and master's degree already when I met her. She's going to school now to get her doctorate. Like, nice. Finally to meet somebody that had the same level of intelligence as me to where we can have an educated conversation was amazing. Yeah. Her background, her family's military. So like it was a little bit different for me than what I'm used to. So like man, I can't even explain. I can't even put it into words. Like I just knew. Yeah. I just knew. And then once I came out to my family and she was like, I've never had somebody do something like that for me before. And I was like, I couldn't hide you. Mm-hmm. And then like from that moment on, it was just like, we were just intertwined.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't even put it into words. It was just, I just knew.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm too, like, I got trust issues for me.
I did too, though.
Yeah.
For real, I did too. Like, I've been through a lot, man. In 2018, I had an ectopic pregnancy that almost killed me.
Oh, wow.
For real. So, the baby was attached to my fallopian tube, and my fallopian tube was bursting, sealing itself. Bursting, sealing itself. It's what the doctor described it as. She said she had never seen nothing like that before. You can't tell me that ain't God.
Yeah.
So, I lost my left fallopian tube. I had to go into emergency surgery, lost my left fallopian tube, stayed in the hospital overnight, and then I had recovery, obviously. So, like, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't let that dictate who I am or change who I am. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, and then just all the men that I dealt with, and even women, too, just, like, the things that I went through. Like, it's crazy I was just saying this the other day, it's crazy to think about just not a year ago, because obviously we were together, but like, it wasn't that long ago that I was just sitting there crying, like, I think I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Nobody is going to want me because I'm damaged goods now. Like, it was like with men, once I told them, like, if I get pregnant, it's a high risk pregnancy, it was almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I genuinely felt like damaged goods. Yeah. What I explained it to somebody is you go to Target, you get your kid a toy, they don't like the toy, but it's after the return policy, so you take it to Goodwill, and then somebody picks it up, and now it's a reused toy, right? That's how I felt as a person. And so for me, like, when I found her and just the immediate love and patience that she had with me, why would I give that up? Hey, you know Tyler Perry said the 80-20 rule? Yeah. Hey, that's my 80. Shit, she might be my 90. Yeah. But, I mean, obviously we're going to have our bad days, but we've always told each other it's me and you versus the problem, not me versus you versus the problem. Mm-hmm. And since we approached it that way, I mean, of course, like I said, we have our bad days, but everybody we always come, absolutely, we always overcome it together.
Yeah. She's like, you've gone through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So like, with that pregnancy, so now, like, have you had that conversation with her? Like, oh, yeah. Obviously, like, do you guys you said earlier, like, your family's shedding the idea that you can't have kids, you can't have this family, which maybe not a husband, but you still can have a wife, you can still have kids and stuff like that. Like, do you still plan to have kids in the future?
Oh, yeah, they coming. Yeah. They coming. Yeah. No, yeah, we've had that conversation. So Ashley's going to carry because for me, it's too high risk. And I think I have a form of PTSD from the trauma that I went through. So she's going to carry. We did talk about at one point transferring an egg from me to her so that there is a child that is biologically mine. But just from a cost perspective, obviously I'd have to have a procedure. She would have to have one. And it's just... But, I mean, no matter what, like, if that baby is born from her body, like, that's my baby. Yeah. No matter what. So, yeah, we had that conversation very early on. We want 3 kids. We have their names picked out. Like, we have a name that can go boy or girl. I mean, because we know, obviously, it's not going to be even necessarily. But we've had that conversation since jump.
That's not, like, having those tough conversations. Like,
oh, yeah.
At the beginning, especially, like, with your experience, like, I'm sorry that you had to deal with it. Like, that's a lot. And I know, like, we're getting older now,
right? So absolutely.
Like, so having kids, like, at our age, and it's gonna be even harder.
Exactly, and that was the other factor because she's 4 years younger than me, so that was the other factor. Like, her body is more susceptible to becoming pregnant and handling it well. Versus me, that, you know, it just makes more sense biologically for her to carry than me.
For sure.
Yeah.
How's your family with her? Do they? I mean,
bro, I swear they love her more than they love me.
Don't it feel like that way sometimes?
Man, no, all the time. No, they love her. I mean, at first, obviously things were a little rocky just because everything was so new, and like you said, I had just came out. Yeah. Now all of a sudden I'm like, I got a girl, and then it's like I'm about to propose, and they're like, wait a minute, what? Like, slow down. I was like, no, I know, like, I know that this is the one, but like, my My mom loves her. My dad loves her. My sister loves her. My sister actually went on Ashley's bachelorette trip with her. So that was where they got their opportunity to bond. And when they came back, like, I'm like, man, I just feel left out now. But no, my nephews, my sister has 3 boys, and they love her. Like, they call her Aunt Ashley.
So it wasn't hard for your family to grasp,
No.
like...
It was. There was a trial there at the beginning with my sister and Ashley, like, not necessarily like them fighting or anything like that, but for my sister, this is the first real relationship that I've been in and around her, and sharing her baby sister was hard.
Yeah.
But once she grew to know, because like I told her, I was like, I'm not going to bring somebody around that's like bad for me. Like, clearly I think I have a good, evaluation of folks. So like, I'm not going to just keep somebody around that I don't think is going to stick. And so when she went on that bachelorette trip and they bonded, like, that's all they needed. They needed a moment away from me to make that connection themselves, and it's been coasting since then.
That's dope. And has her family like embraced you too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Me and her dad, we talk about basketball because I coach. We talk about basketball. We talk about lifting because I like to lift, and I mean we talk about all kinds of things. And then her mom actually came down for my bridal shower, so it was just her and I in the house because Ashley went up to where she's from to spend Father's Day with her dad, and so her mom came down here and came to my bridal shower, so we spent some time just her and I together. So I mean, like, yeah, it just feels like family. You know what I mean? Like, we just all been around each other, and then our families get along.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Like we all spent 4th of July together last year, and like they all get along as a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then her mom was here for her, like, around her birthday because she had a church function or something like that. And we threw her a little birthday party in the house. Everybody came to the house.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Good. So like, yeah, it's a good mix for sure.
That is awesome. You mentioned like basketball. I know you got the Kobe shirt on. Is this the shirt you was wearing?
I was waiting on this. Our Lamar clothing. This is my boy. He hooked me up. I loved Kobe. Yeah. Like, that was my guy.
And did you purposely do the 8-24-24 for you?
All right, so here's what happened with that. She gave me 2 wedding day options after we got engaged, and the first one was a no-go. Like, it just wasn't happening. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, 8-24-24. I said, that's Kobe Day. I said, that's our wedding day. That's our wedding day. She was like, okay. But ever since then, though, like, she's been supportive of it. Like, I'm like, it's an important day for me, but it's going to be even more important going forward because that's going to be our anniversary. But like, Kobe Day it's important to me.
Yeah. So you graduated with a bachelor's in sports management.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And like you said, you're a basketball coach now.
Yep.
So you've been like a diehard sports fan for a while.
Since I was 5 years old. Yeah. Was the first time I shot a basketball at Oaklawn Elementary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you play like ball like you went to Baker University? Did you?
Yeah. So actually, I didn't play ball.
Okay.
I played ball my sophomore year of high school. I had knee surgery, and I just didn't come back from that. So I knew as a player that I was going to have to change my mentality as far as the sport. Like, I knew I wanted to be involved in it, but how? Mm-hmm. So that's what made me go to school for sport management because I love business. I love numbers. I'm accounting, math, like operations. give it to me. So I went to go study that. I started at Butler Community College, graduated from there, transferred to Wichita State, and then finished my degree there. For my undergrad, and then my master's degree for Baker, I actually did that 100% online.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's an adult accelerated program, so I finished that 100% online to get my master's.
That's in business administration.
Yep. So did that. But yeah, I knew that I wanted to stay involved in sports. I just didn't know how. And then when I learned more about sport management programs, I was like, that's exactly what I need to do. Mm-hmm. And so I did that for a couple of years. The downside to it is there's not a lot of money in the field unless you really go through the mud, but going through the mud is like hard. Mm-hmm. Like, my first gig in sport management, I made $22,000 a year. Yeah. Like, that's next to nothing. Like, you can't even afford rent in Wichita with that. So I had to switch gears and figure something else out. So then I stepped away from it. But I've always been involved in sports in some capacity.
Yeah. When you said you coach, and it's 8th grade boys basketball.
Yep,
right?
I coach 8th grade boys right now.
Do you feel like you have to, I don't know, do you feel like you get like, wait, let me figure out how to ask this question. Just like being a female coach, coaching 8th grade boys basketball, do you feel like they give you slack on like your knowledge of the basketball, or even parents? I feel like coaches get that in general, but do you feel like being a female, like it's even more?
I think they did it first, to be honest, because I was supposed to be coaching girls basketball, but I only had one girl show up for tryouts. So then they're like, well, are you interested in coaching boys? And I was like, yeah, I'll coach. I mean, I'm going to coach the same way no matter what. So I stepped into the boys program as an assistant coach. And at first, like, I would coach them because I don't know if we were at camp at the same time, but I was at Wichita State camp a long time ago. We were back in like middle school, and they brought a shooting specialist in. Well, Jane Albright was the head coach at the time. She wanted me to go work with the high schoolers and the shooting specialist. So I did that, and they changed my form up. I studied that. And then I don't know if you know of a Lethal Shooter. He's on Instagram. I study him a lot. And the drills and stuff like that he does. So, like, I was trying to coach them on their form, and they just kind of looked at me like. So then at one point, we put all the kids on the bleachers, and we were talking to them about something. So I was letting the head coach talk. I'm sitting there just shooting free throws. And I'm swishing them, just hitting them back to back to back. They were like, she doesn't miss. So I think that's where I got their approval at first from the kids. Like, okay, she may know what she's talking about. Yeah. Then as the season progressed, and we had to divide the kids into 2 squads because we had too many kids on the roster, I took over the, what we call like our JV squad, and started coaching them up, and like they started improving. They're like, okay, she knows. This is my first session actually operating as a head coach, and at first I was genuinely nervous. Like, I didn't know if this was going to be successful for me. I didn't know what I was really getting myself into, but I have truly studied coaching since I was in high school. Pat Summitt, that was my girl. I watched University of Tennessee, Candace Parker. Like, I've studied coaches for years, and bringing a lot of their mentalities into my game was my go-to. And so our very first tournament with me as a head coach, I think this is where I gained their respect. Our very first tournament with me as a head coach, we took 2nd place. Okay. And so I think that's where I got the respect from the kids, all their buy-in. Because I had some kids that returned for me second session. And then I think that's where I got their respect and their buy-in. But then also I got the parents. And then showing them, like, I'm bought into your kid. Because I don't have a kid on the team. I don't have kids. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm here for y'all. Like, I'm not here for nothing else. Like, obviously, with youth sports, a lot of times it's a parent that has a kid on the team that's coaching. I don't have a kid. Yeah. So my true interest is in developing you.
And is this all volunteer? Like, you're just...
So technically I do get paid because I don't have a kid on the team. Because if you have a kid on the team, you get a discount on your rate. But because I don't have a kid, I get paid. Okay. But it's not very much. Yeah. I'm just genuinely, like, I love coaching. And what's crazy is I applied for so many coaching jobs, never got interviews, never even got a phone call or an email. And then I broke down crying because I had applied for the Wichita West High School basketball job a year ago. And I had a call with the athletic director, and they picked somebody else. I didn't even get an interview. Hey. And so I bawled, like, I cried. I was like, man, nobody will give me a chance. I'm done. I'm giving up. Ashley's like, no, don't give up yet. Yeah. And she's like, either we're going to start our own organization or something's going to come. And then the Wichita Wildcats came up, opportunity for coaching. I just sent him a quick Facebook message. He's like, if you're interested, I'd love to have you. And so then I went to the first tryout, got involved, and now I'm running 8th grade.
That's dope. You got a supportive woman with you.
I'm telling you.
We're going to start our own league if this don't work
She said she's like, we'll fit, because she has a background of fundraising. So she was like, we'll figure out fundraising. She's like, we'll figure out uniforms. We'll figure it all out. She's like, if this is what you want to do, we will make it happen. Yeah. I
see why it only took you 2 months.
Hey.
I see why.
That's my baby, man.
Yeah. That's dope. And, like, you're involved in other sports. I seen, like, a picture of you. Did you play football too? Like,
no.
You're in the uniform. The Forest football?
Oh, that's funny. That was at the mall. So I was just bored one day. So actually, there's 2 pictures floating out there. So one day I was bored. We were at the mall selling Black Friday ticket specials, and we had the uniform laying on the table. So I was like, it'd be funny if I just walk around and try to sell tickets in a uniform. And so I did that one day. And then the other time, we were getting sample jerseys in because we hadn't gotten our uniforms yet. So this was before the season started. And somebody sent in some sample jerseys for us. And so just me being me, I went in there, just put it on, and then came to the general manager's office, and she's like, Shanice, what are you doing? And then she just took a picture of me and posted it on Facebook. So yeah, but no, I never did play.
Okay, but you were just like, you were the general manager.
I was the assistant general manager in 2016.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
Nice. So you've been around the sports.
Oh yeah, always.
That's dope. I've thought about coaching in the past, but it does take like a lot of work, a lot of patience, and I don't think I could coach kids. Like,
yeah,
you got to be very patient for that. And
you got to know what you want out of it. Because I know for myself now, I know I'm not a fundamental coach. Like when parents approach me about coaching fundamentals, that ain't for me. I am an execution coach where I will install plays, whether it's offense or defense. And my favorite part of coaching is adjusting. So during the game, you throw out an offense and they figure out how to stop it. I love adjusting.
Yeah.
I love calling a timeout and being like, okay, let's draw this up real quick. That's my favorite part. Outside of obviously the lights going off for the kids and like seeing them get excited because they're getting better. But I just love adjusting. But like I said, you have to know for yourself what you want as a coach and what your goals are. Because I would love to coach a high school or like a middle school team. I would love it. But I've told my kids I will not leave them. Yeah. Like I've been presented with the opportunity for a middle school position, but I don't think it's meant for me right now because I can't leave my kids.
Yeah. And the fact that you're getting those opportunities now, like that's a good look for you finding potential. Like you at one point in time just like devastated, I'm giving up. Now you got this and you're getting more calls. So
and I got more kids that are wanting to play with me, like. And it's funny, too, because we just had a tournament a few weeks ago. And it was such a big tournament that we had to play up in Newton. And I went to go put my bag down. But, like, I was putting my bag down, obviously, closest to the scores table. The ref was like, oh, you're here to run the clock? And I said, no, I'm their coach. And he was like, oh, okay. And we beat the team 60-4.
Damn.
And he was like, okay, you did your thing. I'm like, like, don't discount me because I'm a female. Like, I mean, I've studied. I did my homework. I did my due diligence to get to this spot.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you studied and since you were in high school, so that's why.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as a female, person of color who's a female, have dealt with struggles. Now being also queer, like, have you seen, now that you've identified a part of this community, that you've also now got some like backlash or anything towards being a queer?
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that the other day because it's like, to stack all three of those against you, like, you would think that all odds are against you at that point. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I don't think that I have experienced that yet. Mm-hmm. And if I do, that's fine. Because to me, and again, this goes back to my faith, it's like, if that door closes, God's going to have something even bigger for you coming.
Yeah.
That's like I said, and Ashley really helped me learn this, is that when I got shut down for coaching and she was like, don't give up yet, it's coming. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
But now that I persevered and I stayed with it and I stuck with the program, and now I've got parents that are like, if you leave, my kid's going with you. Mm-hmm. Or like calling me on the side like, hey coach, I just want to know, like, do you plan on keeping my son because he really likes you? He doesn't like very many people, but he likes you.
That's so.
Or a parent that approaches me and is like, my son just said at the dinner table, you're his most favorite coach he's ever had. Like, I take those comments to heart. Mm-hmm. I don't take it to where it makes me a cocky coach, mm-hmm. but it makes me know that I'm heading the right direction with my program.
Right, yeah.
But to answer your question, I don't think I've approached anything yet outside of the situations with church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those conversations like that, those comments that you get back from the youth, these kids, they deal with a lot already.
Yeah,
As it
absolutely.
goes. So for you to be that light, and like sports, like for me, it was always just like a way out of just like
Yeah.
getting that discipline, just like staying out of trouble and stuff like that. So like you being that lead, that role for them, it is good that you are making a good impact for them
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. And my program is bigger than just basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I study like, and people probably think I'm weird or I'm cliche, but like I study to the point where like a movie like Coach Carter has impacted me as a
I fucking
coach.
love that movie.
That's my
I
all-time favorite
love that
basketball
movie.
movie. Well, I take that back because Love and Basketball always gonna be
Oh
number
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I'll take that back. But like how Coach Carter was like, you're a student athlete, student comes first. My kids don't know it yet. Y'all, when y'all see this, you gonna know they got grade check coming when it comes to the fall because my job as a coach is not only to prepare you for school ball, but if
Mm-hmm.
your grades ain't right, you ain't playing school ball.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you sure ain't coming to play for me if your
Yeah.
grades ain't right because education is just as important because at the end of the day, nobody can take that from you.
Mm-hmm.
Injury can come where your career is over.
Yep.
Nobody can take that education away from you once you have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want my kids to understand the impactfulness of education and also community service. Like we're gonna I haven't gotten the things together yet, but my buddy, he just got a job as the head football and head middle school basketball coach at Udall. Like I want to
Nice.
work with him to try to put a clinic together for his kids to try to entice kids, but then also give my kids a sense of leadership and responsibility. Like you are going to go out here and teach these kids what
Yeah.
I've taught you. Because then on the flip side, I worked in the school for a year, so well, a couple of years, but
Yeah.
the best way to know if a student has learned what you've taught them is make them teach it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And
That's
so if the way that I know that you know what I'm trying to get you to understand, go show him, go
yeah.
show her. You know what I'm saying?
I
So I
love
mean,
that.
it's going to be bigger than just what we do on the court. It's going to reflect
Yeah.
on what we do outside of the court. Because if y'all want me to be 100% in with you, you're going to show me that you're really ready to do the work, not just on the court, but what you do off.
And I think that's what like separates coaches, great coaches, is seeing like not just what's on the court
Oh,
or
absolutely.
whatever it may be, just like on the field, but the whole picture of thing, and really trying to get to know their players. So
Yeah,
that's good. And it's
absolutely.
good that you're able to build that connection just being a woman who, and obviously you bring your partner around. So like
Yeah.
the parents, they don't say anything to you about that
Nope.
or anything like
Actually, I
that.
had one of the kids approach me today. He's like, "Coach, are we invited to the wedding?" I was like, I didn't even think about that, but there's
Yeah.
15 of y'all plus y'all parents.
Yeah.
Like, that's an easy 45. Ooh. I said, I got y'all, but yeah, man, I love my kids, man. I truly adore them, and like the level of commitment that they give into me. Because I told them, I was like, if you want me to be committed to you, you got to be committed to me. I said, I'm here for you. Are you
Yeah.
here for me? I
Yeah.
said, I will
I
never
love
give up
that.
on you unless you give up on me. And they're like, we're here.
I love
And I was
that.
like, and I tell them all the time, like, I will never be mad if you want to go to another team.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you feel is what's best for your career, because you got a window. I said, my window
Yeah.
already shut.
Yeah.
I said, so now I'm in a different window. I said, but my window's closed. I said, you got such a short window to make the most out of your opportunity. I said, if you think it's going with another team, I encourage you to do that. I said, but what you're not going to do is you're not going to bounce back and forth. You're not going to
Yeah.
go to another team and then come back to me. Like, we're not going to do that. But I'm like, if you want to stay committed and stick to the process and trust the process, I'm here with it.
Yeah, I love that. You brought the wedding back up again, and I was wondering, like, was it hard for you guys to find a venue that was supportive? I remember
Yeah.
recently, like, one of the venues here in town, like, had something with like the same sex
Yeah.
couples getting married. Did you find that difficulty when you?
We didn't. To be honest, and this is 100% truth, we are truly blessed in our wedding process. Our venue, amazing. It's all inclusive.
Oh, nice,
Even an event coordinator. That's
nice.
amazing. I mean, to the point where we sent in our inspiration pics for decorations, and she went all out. Like, I mean,
Nice.
she is good. Where we did find or hit an obstacle was an officiant. And this is also probably one of my breaking points, or where I dug a little bit more deeper into my faith, or even like my eyes became a little bit more open to things. So we ran into a situation where the folks that are closest to us, we asked them to marry us. They agreed, but then when they went back to the church and were getting approval, if you will, for this to unify us, they weren't allowed to. It broke my heart. It truly broke my heart because I know that the people that we asked, I know that they love us. I know that they love us as a couple. I know that they love us individually. But there's something there that stops them from performing this union. And I'm not mad at them by any means. I am not mad at them. I do not hold any grudges, nothing like that toward them. But it just broke my heart that they can't be a part of the wedding how we would want them to be. But where it kind of became a little bit cool for us at two, it was an experience, was our event coordinator, she actually has like obviously like recommendations, right? Being from the city, when I proposed to Ashley, was on top of the Old Town Warren parking garage, the very top level. You can see the Wichita skyline, right?
It was cute.
Right? Okay, so that there, right? So then the venue that we picked, in the background, all the windows will be open and you can see the whole Wichita skyline, right? And that's where the ceremony will occur and dinner. So like you're gonna see the sunset and everything right there in the same area. But now the big part was Carl Brewer. That's the one mayor that I remember growing up, just being in the face of the community. He was at Juneteenth. We have the Carl Brewer chili cook-off and like a barbecue cook-off or something like that during Juneteenth. Like all these things around Carl Brewer, right? His daughter is marrying us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's an even deeper city connection. You know what I mean? So like
it all worked out.
It all worked out. But like I said, like, but for me, that's where I was like, I just went on a tangent that day. I was just like, how can people be so cruel because of who I love and who loves me? Like, why does it keep you up at night who lays next to me? That's just wild to me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, I don't hold no grudges to people that have an issue with my relationship, because one, they're not the ones laying next to me at night. They're not the ones that are going to uphold my marriage. It's going to be me and my future wife and God, and that's what it's going to be. So,
well, that's good that it's like, besides it's all working out together.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The wedding and everything. But I just had to ask that just because, people are, do you have a plan too? Like, is it going to be an easy process for you to get your license, like after you're married too?
Yeah, we already got our marriage application. So we'll submit that. We'll go on our honeymoon and we'll submit everything once we come back, because we can't change our passports.
Okay.
Because it's obviously not in a timely manner, but we'll get everything changed over once we.
That's good.
That's
good. It's going smoothly. Everything's working.
So when after August 24th, 2024, I'll be Mrs. Hollis Davis.
Okay, so you blended the names.
We blended our names.
I love that.
Yeah,
what made you decide to like blend it and not go with one or the other?
So she's really close with her dad. I'm really close with my dad. Neither one of us wanted to give up our last names, and I didn't think that we should have to.
Yeah.
So we just put them together. We decided which order we wanted to go in. Yeah. But then going forward, I'll be Coach HD.
Okay.
So then our hashtag is Love in HD. So Love in High Definition.
Yeah.
Love in HD. Love in Hollis Davis. Like, it just worked out. Like, going forward, I'll go by Coach HD. And yeah. So it's all worked out.
Yeah. I just found this out not too long ago. It's like, when you get married, you can switch the name.
Yeah, you can completely change your name. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know that. But
yeah, I have a couple friends. Actually, a couple friends. They're gay. They're in the community. They did that. Neither one of them wanted their last name, so they changed their last name completely.
That's dope. Yeah. But that's cool that you guys just like blended that together and it's all working out. It seems like you coming out everything's working out for you. Like, so
far, it's been amazing. I mean, like I said, it wasn't. Not everything's glitter and gold, right? Obviously, like, I've had my bad days, but like overall, I would say I probably have had the most supportive experience as far as coming out. And my goal is to be able to open that door for somebody that doesn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether they get kicked out of their home and we need to help them for a little bit, or just being an ally and just supporting them, talking them through things, or whatever the case may be, like, just being a pillar of support in the community.
Yeah, I love that. And on that note, like, what would you like to leave the audience with today?
Man, there's so much that I could leave them with, but like, just being true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether you feel like you're different, it's okay to be different. You know what I mean? And like, if, I mean, if people don't accept you, that's their problem, not yours. And it took me a long time to accept that because, whenever something would happen negatively in a relationship, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why doesn't anybody want me? But really, it's their loss because you are a phenomenal person. Like, you know who you are. You know what you bring to the table. Hold that confidence. Like, don't let anybody sell you short or dim your light because of their inadequacies, if that makes sense. Like, hold your light and hold it high because what you may feel like you lack, you're a light to somebody else. And so just be you, hold that light high, and just, that's all I can say is just like, be you.
Yeah, I love that. Hold your own light high. I feel like sometimes we gotta light our own candles and turn our own light on. Not everyone's gonna gas you up or just like be in your corner to support you.
Well, and that's like I was saying the other day on Facebook, like, don't let your passion get in front of, like, dismiss your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, because your passion, like, even for me, I get in my own way because, like, I'll get so passionate into the game or whatever I'm talking about that it's like, I've missed the message or I've missed the window or just whatever the case may be. But just like, for the people that are strong in the community, don't let your passion front or dismiss your purpose. But then on the other side of the spectrum, if you're not confident in the community or not confident in yourself, don't dim that light for nobody because nobody else can be you. It's one of one.
One of one.
One of one. That's it. You will never be duplicated or replicated. It is one of one.
I like that. I love that. Is there anything a part of your story that you feel like you want to touch on and we just didn't cover it?
No, I mean, I'm always willing to share my story. It's a very unique story. It's funny because when I was growing up, I was like, I want to be one of those kids that has a testimony. But like, I didn't grow up bad. Yeah. So like, in a way, I try to create my own testimony. Like, and it was like, nah. It was funny because one time somebody said to me, you want to make God laugh, tell him what you're going to do. And so, like, I try to create my own testimony, but then in real life, like, I became one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never afraid to share my story or what I've been through or the story or the journey that I've been on, even in the community and being young in the community, like, I'm always willing to share whatever experiences I have.
Yeah, you being like known within the community and just like growing up here, your family's known and whatnot. Do you feel like when you came out, like there was a shift, or do you feel like it was the same?
I think it was the same, but in my mind there was a shift because I thought people looked at me different. But now, and the person that Shanice is now, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care what they think. Like I've been saying this whole time, that's my baby, that's my world right there. So like, if you ain't rocking with it, you better hop off on the next stop because this train gonna keep going. Yeah. And you ain't passing and collecting no 200. You better just drop them bags and go because
them bags and go
because ain't no money being handed out. But but for real, I'm telling you, I cannot put it into words the love and security that I have in my relationship that I truly wish everybody could experience because it's like none other. Yeah. I truly have my best friend in my house. Like, that's my baby. Like, we do almost everything together. Like, of course, we still do things separately, but like, that's my best friend. Like, I can go to her and tell her anything, and then vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can kick it in the house and not even say a word to each other, but like, that's how we spend time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we old ladies, we like to go play bingo. So catch us at the bingo hall. But
I'm gonna have to go when you guys go. You're gonna have to text me because I've been wanting to go play bingo.
For real, we go all the time.
Nobody wants to go to bingo.
No, bingo's where it's at.
I love
bingo is where it's at. It's fun. We be having fun. But like, I mean, I just truly hope people get to experience the love that I found in her because it truly is unreal.
Yeah, that's I love that for you. I think that, like you said, you do have a great testimony, a great story, just because having the faith that you do and navigating through that and just coming out recently and finding the love and not even no breaks, all gas.
All
like,
gas.
I love this person. This is who I'm supposed to be with, and not caring about like. And it's so good that like your family's mesh and like everything's going so well. The wedding is the end of this year. Like
no, it's in 2 months.
Oh, it is. Damn,
it's August.
Yeah, the year's gone by fast.
For real.
Oh my gosh.
For real.
Yeah. Jeez, yeah, you guys are getting married in 2 months.
In 2 months.
So a lot of last minute things.
Look, my heart going now.
A lot of last minute things you guys are like, and then luckily you have a planner. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, we haven't had to really stress about anything because they take care of the food, the alcohol, the decorations. I mean, everything. Yeah. The one thing I'm really excited about though, my best friend is making. I had this whole idea of these custom sneakers that I wanted. And everybody was trying to charge me arm and a leg to get them done. So I was like, okay, I found a video on YouTube, how to do it. I just took these fabrics over to her house and I was like, okay, we're just going to glue these fabrics on here. But my friend, she's super creative. And so I was over there Sunday to start putting it together. Like I have a tester pair of forces that we put it on. And then I'm going to order another pair of forces to do the real ones, right? She done turned this whole thing into a whole Picasso. Like, she's talking about rhinestones, airbrush, and I'm like, for real, we were gonna just put fabric on the shoe, and now she done got these paint pens out. Like, but I'm like, I sat there for 3.5 hours, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. You do your thing. Call me whenever you want me to look at it. But no, I trust her with my whole heart. So I know she gonna put it on fire. And she told me, she's like, these are gonna be shoes that you will never want to wear again.
Yeah, that's dope.
So I'm gonna order a whole little sneaker box to put them in and put it on the wall. So
that's exciting. You're gonna be married in 2 months.
2 months.
Well, congratulations on the engagement.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just like life. I think we met in Butler. You said like in middle school.
No, it wasn't even Butler.
You said middle school, but like
it was at Wichita State basketball camp.
Yeah,
because you had a little friend, little white girl. She had the brown hair. And we played against each other. I know. I can remember it.
Yeah, I definitely went to that Wichita State basketball camp.
That is where I met you.
Yeah. There were so many people there.
There was. But you stuck out. But honestly, I think we stuck out because...
There weren't that many black people.
There weren't that many black people. No, but for real, but you were a hooper, though. Like, you were a postman hooper, and that's what I was. Yeah. Like, we could shoot, we could dribble, we could drive, like... And I think a lot of the campers there weren't ready for that type of ball. Like, you could tell we definitely played against boys.
Yeah.
We weren't used to playing against girls because we were aggressive. And so I think, like, for real, that's what stuck out to me about you way back then. And then we would run into each other every now and then.
I remember, like, just like your face was always familiar.
Yeah.
Like,
and then we went to Butler and we saw each other at Butler. And it's just, because actually, Ashley asked me, she's like, how do y'all know each other? I was like, man... This goes way back to middle school.
Yeah, I was everywhere though. Like,
I mean, ball. That was it. And this was before social media, so it was like you had to keep up with each other, like seeing each other's names in the paper and stuff like that.
Paper camps,
man,
skate rinks.
Hey, like, hey, how'd your school year go? I ain't seen you since last year. But no, that's where I remember you from.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you again. Just like we're gonna have to like rekindle it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm around here.
Up, for sure. And just thank you again for being a part of.
Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
And I'm gonna have your wife on, it'll be wife when I have her on here.
Oh, and I'm sure she'll be more than happy to come on here. She's got some words too. She's a powerful. She can speak.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to definitely get her on here too. But just thank you for being a part of this.
Absolutely,
it means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me, honestly, to be a part of this. Because whenever I told people what interview I was doing today, and they're like, "Well," I said, "Man, yeah, it's local, but the message and like I said at the beginning, the message and the demographic you're trying to reach is one that we haven't tapped into yet. And we haven't touched, and it needs to be touched. So, what you're doing right now, for real, is a vibe. That's for real. That's
I appreciate that, and I seen the lag that it was, so that's why somebody's got to do it. So
absolutely,
I appreciate that. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Kueen Talk. As you guys can see, I'm representing the Kueen Talk shirt. We got merch available now. Online store will be coming soon. But if you have me in the DMs, just slide up. If you're in town, I'll come by, get you a shirt. But as always, first, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe.
Hit that button.
Comment. Let me know what you think of this episode. But as always, family, friends, strangers, love. Be nice.
Hey.
Be nice. Sweet.